Hello everyone, and welcome back to Vintage Story. Since the last episode, I headed out in search of more tin. I went ahead and chopped down some maple trees, an oak, and a walnut. This is where the shears truly shine. With the newfound tin, I smelted 1,000 units of tin bronze and made 8 ingots, another pickaxe, and a new hammer. I then used the 8 ingots to make splitter plugs. Since copper was running low, I went around the area and dug up the deposits. After getting a pretty good haul, in which we finally found some better quality ore, we ended up with just over 5 stacks of nuggets. But before I could continue gathering up resources, we were rudely interrupted by a temporal storm. A temporal storm is like an in-game event, which will lower your temporal stability and allow mobs to spawn all over. There are different strength storms, and we were hit with a light one. There is a world setting that allows you to sleep through them, which I do have enabled, but seeing as how this is the first, I figured I'd give fighting through it a shot. It went a lot worse than I thought, especially since it was meant to be a light storm, but in the end I did come out with a temporal gear, which we'll use later to set my spawn. From there, I headed out on a bit of an expedition in search of some more food in either limestone or chalk. Near the world spawn, I found some ruins and raided them. I ended up finding some chalk strata in a mountain range to the north and gathered up 6 stacks for now. Back home, I harvested some of the turnips so I could make some meals from the animals I hunted on the way back. Which brings us back to the present. In this episode, I want to accomplish a few things. One is to upgrade our inventory to some leather backpacks, which I started the leather making process using the chalk we found. The first step is to soak some hides in a barrel of lime water, which you can get from either lime or chalk, which I've got started out in the entryway. Then I want to start a bee farm, and finally I would like to actually break ground on the base. Hides are out here, soaking in these barrels of lime water. I hunted a few bears. I may have died once or twice, but I figured that I think bears use 10 units of lime water per hide, so I figured they were the best ones to use. Then the next step is to, after you scrape the hides, which we'll get to all this later on in the episode. Sorry, Drifter, I'm trying to talk here. The next step is to soak them in weak tannin and then finally in strong tannin, which you make weak tannin using 5 either acacia or oak logs, and then once you have weak tannin, you can use 5 more logs and you can make strong tannin, which I've got getting ready right there, almost done. So we should have leather coming up pretty quick. I also planted some trees over there, which hopefully they'll start growing, like these two, and then we'll have a few more oak and walnut logs. Looks like medium rift activity, which is never fun to see. And then we've got the farm going here, which things are going pretty smoothly. We also have the cattails, which hopefully those will come in soon. And then there were some more turnips that look like I think they're all ready to go, so we might grab those real fast. Looks like they're all ready to go, which As you can see, harvesting, just punch them. And then... Nice. Now, I did install another mod, which this one is just Knapster. I think I talked about it in a previous episode. It just makes life a little bit easier when doing things like napping or clay forming and stuff like that. And then I also, once we get back inside, on my travels, taking some prospecting readings, I found a couple nice ones. One of tin and another of iron, so those will be nice to have. In here, the tin reading, I believe, was right here. So we got high cassiterite, so hopefully we can find it somewhere in this region. There's actually a pretty nasty ruin here, so I believe it's like a little bit of a dungeon, and then just bits and bobs. One of the nicer things I found was some basalt, which in the base design I have planned, basalt is pretty heavily used. And found some traders, but then up here by these two traders, we found very high hematite, so that was a very nice find. As much as I had planned to live in the Bronze Age for a little bit, seeing as how we haven't found a ton of cassiterite, I might end up going and getting bronze or the iron. However, there is a bit of process in order to make that, which is part of the reason why I've gathered up so much flint here. Because in order to make iron, you need fire clay, which it doesn't naturally spawn really that much anymore, except underneath of black coal deposits and sometimes in bauxite biomes. So we have to make fire clay, which you can make by using this powdered calcined flint and surrounding it with 8 pieces of clay, and you get 8 fire clay. So we can go ahead and toss these turnips in here, which is a pretty good haul. I probably will plant some more turnips pretty soon. It is kind of getting towards the end of July, and turnips are heat resistant until -5, so we should be pretty good. I would like to plant these cabbage seeds, but they take 14 days. So I might not risk that this year, but we'll see. Now, I do want to, like I said, get a bee farm started, and to do so, we need cattails, which unfortunately doesn't look like those have grown up, so we'll probably run around, once again, chopping up a bunch of the cattails, harvesting them, because we need to make some skeps, or at least a skep to get started, preferably more, and then we'll head over to the aptly named bee hole, and we'll need a bunch of flowers to get the bees to swarm. And then from there, we'll have some bees, so the bees will be nice for honey, and then also we can make beeswax, and with beeswax we can make candles and whatnot. So I'll probably end the night here while we're waiting. I'll eat some food quick. I'll probably make some, or clay form some crocks, as we're gonna definitely be needing some of those. I just found some blue-gray clay in a couple of random places, but we'll need crocks in order to store food for the winter. And then I also think I want to do some panning throughout the night, but we'll get started on the clay forming first. So, after panning, we got a number of things. We got a aged lore book, copper chain, some rough peridot, a rough diamond, flint arrowheads, some bony rib cages, flax fibers, copper spearhead, copper arrowheads, a bunch of bones, as expected from bony soil, and 3 rusty gears. So not too bad of a haul. And with this one, we will have this pit kiln. We have 16 crocs firing. And looks like our cattails grew, so we'll be able to go ahead and harvest those instead of running around out in the wild ones. Although it wouldn't be bad to go and harvest a bunch of the wild ones, but it isn't really imperative to do at the moment, because I would like to eventually have another field or two of those, of 64, but for now, I'll put that torch back here. And it looks like our leather, or bear hides, are almost done with that first stage, so then we can scrape the hides. Do I have another knife? I don't think so. So we'll go ahead and nap a new knife. Now, with Knapster, I can just hold the button and it does everything for me, which is nice. And we can make a new flint knife, and then I'll go ahead and put a lot of this stuff away. Whoops. And I always like to keep the ladders on me. And we can put these away. Now, I did move the pit kilns because... oh, they're done. Cool. But I moved the pit kiln from down there where that bow torn is, because, as I've said, this is kind of where the base is going to be. So, to get started on that today, I figured, just in case we get to it before those were to be finished up, they won't be in the way. But, we can come over here and grab these bear hides out. And then, I believe from there you just scrape them. Oh, wow, you get actually quite a lot of huge hides. I did not know that. So each one will use up 50, or this will take all of this tannin, so we'll seal that up. So those will be good to go here in, I think it said 3 days, and then we'll have to do them in the strong tannin again. Now the nice thing is, with the rest of this, these huge hides, they don't go bad, so there's no spoil timer on them or anything, so we can just leave those there, and then once we get around to making some more tannin, which I'm not too worried about doing at the moment, as these 10 hides will give us a fair amount of leather. I'll have to do the math after this and check to see if that's enough to make 4 backpacks to replace these hand baskets. But for now, Otar's just, oh, there's 2 of them now. We'll leave them to hang out, but we're gonna head over here to the cattails and harvest them. And then I need to run around and collect, I have some flowers, but I need to run around and collect a bunch of flowers. And then we'll kind of set up an area for bees. It may not be the permanent location, but we'll get it set up. So, you've seen me collect cattails plenty of times now, so I'll get back to you once it's done. So, with those cattails, we'll be able to make some skeps. But first, yeah, I'm pretty positive that these 10 scraped huge hides will make 50 leather, which we need, I believe it's 32 to make the backpack, so we should be good to go on that front. But to make these up here, to make skeps, you need to take in this form with clay and the cattails, so we can just go like this. So we'll grab probably as many as we can, I believe. Yeah, we'll do all 4 for now, and then so that uses up the stack. But we'll only need 1 at the moment, and I don't know if these technically count as flowers. I don't know, they're not. So we'll have to go out and find a whole bunch more flowers, which I'll head out and do at the moment. I'm gonna need more food before I go. Pick those up, and maybe along the way get some food. Now, I do want to say I should get some farm started, whether that be a chicken farm or the pig farm. I don't know if those pigs are still alive over there, but either one would be nice. But a farm would be nice to have, because I am pretty much always running out of meat at the moment, and since you can't use bush meat for any meals, I'm having to find red meat, which for some odd reason I can't find like any animals that have red meat in this area. So, except for rabbits, which, I mean, I could kill a bunch of rabbits, but I'd rather kill something that would give me a larger hide. So But for now, I'm going to go ahead and collect up a bunch of flowers, and then we'll head over to the bee hole and get that set up. I ran around, gathered up some flowers, and then in the nighttime I went ahead and forged herself a copper scythe, along with made a whole lot of copper ingots and some more nails and strips, just because probably need them all in the future. The scythe, for anyone who doesn't know, is great for collecting things like large swaths of grass and even cattails. So that'll be helpful to have. And then we're gonna head over and get started on the bees. Now, I did actually, seeing this rabbit reminded me, I did decide to just, you know, kill a few rabbits to see what the rates were like, and I was getting, what was that? Sound like a deer. Oh, there's a deer around here. I might end up having to kill those deer. But anyways, oh, there's one. I killed some rabbits, and I think I killed 4, got 6 pieces of red, raw red meat, and then I think I got 4 little hides and whatnot. So it's just not really worth it in my opinion. But oh, there's already some flowers nearby. Also a wolf of the pit. So what we can do is take this skep, we can place it down, and I believe if you look at it, it's just a large empty. So I'm going to just, seeing as it's already grassed here, I'm going to place down some more of these lilies of the valley. And if we wait a minute or so, I'll get away from them because they're kind of loud. But if we wait a couple minutes, they should eventually say that they're going to start swarming. And then with that, we'll actually be able to... hello? We'll actually... I think it takes a day or so, and then they'll swarm to that skep. Yeah, I don't know where I want to set up the bee farm itself, nor do I know really where I want to set up the chicken farm. Both can be temporary for now. I'm thinking I just want them nearby. The bees, well, the bees, I should say, I will probably put those a little ways away because, case in point, they're kind of loud. So I'm thinking maybe over there. And I did see, actually, maybe I won't put them over there because I did see a boar over here. So it looks like at least the boar is still alive, so that's good. It was just right over here laying down when I was gathering up a bunch of flowers. So, oh, there it is right there. So maybe I won't put it over here because I don't want... for anyone who doesn't know, when you go to actually break a beehive or these skeps in order to harvest the bees, they will swarm and attack anything nearby. And I imagine, I've never really actually seen it, but I imagine they'll attack something like the boar. So I think it might just be a good idea to maybe put it somewhere else. Maybe I'll put it over here, as I think all I've seen over here is a wolf and rabbits and that one deer, I guess. So yeah, this may be a decent place. Again, it can be temporary. We can always move the bees later. But I think right here it's a nice flat spot. May have to go get some more spears, deal with that wolf, and then I'll clear out this area, put the spot for the bees down, and then I'll run over and check to see if they're swarming yet. And then pretty much it's a waiting game for a number of things, the leather and then whatnot. And then I'll probably put the chicken somewhere nearby as well. I'll gather them up and just maybe just right in there, cover that hole up, and put the chickens there with a lightning rod above. And then from there, I think we'll, after I do those things, I'll come back with you when we're getting ready to kind of break ground. So, see you in a few. Okay, so we went ahead and we got the bee farm set up, which we'll see in a minute. I ended up hunting down some of the 2 deer that we found, and I took out those wolves that you saw. And so I used 8 of the rawhide and put it in some lime water, so we're going to get some more leather eventually. But I'm going to go ahead and head over. I checked the bees. They swarm to the skep, so we will get that sorted. Might as well get it done before nighttime. Low rift activity, so we should be totally fine. So, I guess whilst I'm here, got a whole bunch of fish. Not bad. Leave the rest. Put all of them in there. Now, once we get over here, the way that you move a skep is unlike when it's empty, you can't just pick it up. You have to put it into one of your backpack slots. I'll show you right now. Over here. So you just take like your handbasket out, and then come down here. Oh. That's interesting and new. Huh. I don't know what broke that. So, that's very interesting. Maybe it was a raccoon? I actually don't know. It said it was swarming, so I imagine something broke it. But regardless, we'll have to make a new skep, and we'll have to... The next nearest one that I know of is up here. Maybe we'll... I don't know, that one's a ways away. Interesting. Well, regardless, we'll get to the bees once we have a chance. And I'm going to put off the chickens just for a little bit, because I want to start knocking this down, because the Dwarven hold, or keep home, whatever you want to call it, is going to go right here. And this little bit of land definitely needs to get cut off, and using a lot of the stone that we get from it, from this granite, is what I'll make the walls for the, or the fencing for the chickens out of. So for now, we'll hold off on that. I'll make another skep too, because I used the other 3 over there, and I'll see about putting it back there, maybe blocking it off. I don't know, that's very interesting. Maybe I'll put it up in the air, actually, and go from there. Welcome back. Now, I went ahead and did make that extra skep and place it down. I kind of just placed it in the air next to the hive, so hopefully nothing will get to it. But for now, we're going to get started on digging out this section of the mountain. Now, ignore that little platform for a second. And so we need to dig everything back to this space. So up there, we'll have to dig out that layer. And we'll just have to dig to this layer here, cut all that down, and a lot of that will have to actually go away. I did kind of block off that a little bit, but... Oh, and there's a bow torn behind me. That's going to be a fun thing to have to contend with. I don't even know where it's at. Is it down there? Oh, no, it's right there. But, we'll ignore that for the moment. Now, I want to try something with the built-in camera system. So, I am going to set up camera here, and then, because I don't really have any way to record a montage or anything, so we're just gonna essentially just take it layer by layer and see how it turns out. But full transparency, I do have to go into spectator mode in order to use the camera command, so I do have to change to spectator mode anytime I want to capture anything. So we'll try that out and see how it works. Otherwise, I don't, like I said, I don't have any way to get another account, nor do I have another system that I think is good enough to record on, and so we'll have to just do this for now and see how it goes, and then it'd be lovely if something like the replay mod existed for Vintage Story, but as of right now, it doesn't, so we'll try this out. And welcome back. As you can see, we got pretty much all of this area cleared out, and I didn't do the upper bits or that little floating island just because I was running low on pickaxe durability. I don't have much left on this tin bronze pick, so I'm gonna have to wait until I go out and either find some more tin, or I'm honestly thinking I may, because I do know that there's this tin up here, or the chance of tin in this area, but I am tempted to just head back up here and maybe try and find that iron, because I think that might just be helpful. The jump from bronze to iron is pretty substantial in tool durability and whatnot, and once you find iron, you typically have a lot of it, so I may wait until that point, which will probably happen next episode, or in between episodes I might go and try and find the iron. But in the meantime, the Quarry mod helped out a ton. All those little pallets of stone, so that was nice. Saved a lot of tool durability. And this section up here, where there's this like very square 4-block area, that's pretty much where the doorway into the kind of dwarven keep is going to be. So otherwise, throughout, well, like during the nighttime or when it was getting kind of dark out, I was able to go and get the bees, and then we also got our leather transferred from the weak tannin to the strong tannin, or hides, I should say. So that should be done here in about 4.5 days, so towards the end of August it will be done. And I did want to run over here and see how our crops are doing. Looks like most of our flax is 7 out of 9. Onions are almost done. and our rye is getting there. So, not too bad. As you can see, we got the bees. It looks like they're already kind of swarming to... Oh, wow, they're already large all over the place. So that's pretty nice. I'll probably have to make some more skeps. I want to get this whole area situated. I would like to possibly get one harvest in. Now, I do have a mod that adds in, like, permanent beehive nests, or, like, little beehives, so you don't have to constantly break the skeps. But it's not that important right now. That'll probably be a next year, next in-game year problem. And another thing that I did was I did some of the flint. I cooked it into calcined flint, and then combined it with the red clay and got some fire bricks. So with these fire bricks, we can make a bloomery. Now, the bloomery is how you make iron, but we're gonna need more fire clay in order to, because these bloomeries break whenever you make iron in them, and you have to, like, break them. So I'm just gonna place it here, and let's see how much flint goes in there. So 24 flint goes in there, and then we can grab our charcoal, and we put, I think it was 6 pieces in there. Grab this torch. Well, here, actually, we'll grab this torch. And then we should be able to light it. And that'll make more calcined flint. It's just, I think it's cheaper that way. And then also, you don't have to babysit it at the little fire pit. Also, there's all the crocs, which will be helpful come wintertime. Need to start meal prepping as it is August, so we're getting kind of later in the year. And yeah, so I definitely think next episode, like I said, either between episodes or sooner, or in the episode rather, probably end up seeing about getting into iron. Beyond that, I think that'll do it for this episode. I don't have much else that I wanted to accomplish. We got the bees done. We got leather almost done. It's just kind of a waiting game. The farm's getting there. Yeah. Pretty happy with the progress. Obviously, we broke ground. Hopefully, once we get iron, we'll be able to do a lot more. Just because, again, tool durability will be a lot nicer. And yeah, one thing I would love to do is I do need to find andesite. It's another stone type, which I didn't happen to find any when I was looking around. So hopefully I can find some andesite, as that would be really quite helpful for what I have planned build-wise. It's like a very nice accent color I'm going to be using. Thank you all for joining, and hope to see you next episode. Thank you. Bye.